Good afternoon, and thank you for being here today. I'm Senator Troy Jackson. I'm the Majority Leader of the Maine State Senate. I'm here with a good friend and colleague, House Majority Leader Seth. We want to talk to you a minute about tomorrow. Governor LePage is going to address a joint convention of the Legislature. And like any CEO reporting back to their board, Governor LePage is reporting back to the people in this state and the Legislature on the work that he's done and the progress he's made. The governor has a new slogan: actions speak louder than words. Well, tomorrow he's going to tell you that his policies have put Maine on the right track and that the economy is better than ever and that this government is working better and with far greater transparency. But we urge you to look back on the last 3 years. I mean, look at the facts and ask yourself if the claims he'll be making pass the straight face test. Ask yourself, has he kept his promises? Has he done right by the people of Maine? And has he done right by you? I don't think he has. In fact, I know he hasn't. He's divided Maine and pitted us against each other. He's put his own selfish interests of politics ahead of life-saving health care and ahead of our economy, ahead of our schools and ahead of our teachers, ahead of our towns, our police and our firefighters, even ahead of hungry children, ahead of each and every one of us. He's insulted us. He's embarrassed us. And in Maine, he's turned us into a punchline on late-night TV. Instead of offering solutions to poverty and unemployment, his administration has vilified and shamed working people. Instead of holding the ladder of opportunity, the governor has chosen to pull it up behind him, leaving the working poor with little to no opportunities. I mean, look around. Soup lines are longer. I actually watched down in Preble Street a couple months ago. Amazing how many people were out there on a Sunday night in the cold. I mean, those aren't people that are choosing to just be there. They need to be there. Food pantries can't keep up with the demand, and more Mainers are struggling to keep warm. I don't believe that he's done right by us. You know, he sent the Department of Health and Human Services on a path of self-destruction. He lost tens of millions of dollars by not complying with the federal law. And he's wasted $28 million on a lame duck contractor who failed and who left people alongside of the road unable to get dialysis or cancer treatment. And finally, he blew $1 million on a report that was inaccurate and late. In the end, there are 2 federal inquiries into actions of the people of the Department of Labor and the CDC. I mean, seriously, 2 inquiries about wrongdoing in those departments. And where does he stand? Well, we don't know. He doesn't say anything. He's remained silent on 2 issues that dramatically affect the integrity of his department and his administration. Well, tomorrow, he's not going to be silent, and he shouldn't be. It's time for him to be accountable, because actions do speak louder than words. He has not done right by the people of Maine, but tomorrow night he has a chance to. Tomorrow night he can offer real solutions to real people facing our state and real problems, or not. He can be a problem solver, or not. And he can finally do right by the people of Maine, or not. It's up to him now to finally be a leader and offer real solutions to issues that are affecting this state. Representative Barry?
Thank you, Senator Jackson, and that's exactly right. Maine people deserve better. And that's why we are here calling on the governor to offer real solutions tomorrow evening in his State of the State address. We have an idea of how the governor will try to present how things have gone on his watch. He'll try to take credit for the national economic recovery, when Maine, in fact, has been lagging under his watch. Our state is the 3rd worst in the nation when it comes to job growth. We've only gotten back 1/3 of the jobs that were lost in Maine before the recession, during the recession. This is a problem that requires the governor to come together with the legislature to craft meaningful solutions. But the governor hasn't stepped up. This is not the time for rhetoric from the governor meant to score political points. we need to strengthen our economy. Maine's middle class is struggling to keep up. For many, it's a struggle to keep from slipping out of the middle class. So what has been going on under the governor's watch? Wages for the middle class are stagnating. The income gap in Maine is growing. More Mainers are falling into poverty. Many are children. In fact, 1 in 4 Maine children under the age of 5 are now living in poverty. More than 20,000 Maine children are going hungry every day. And homelessness is on the rise. These are complex problems. It's not a real solution to simply cut off temporary help from struggling families who are trying to get back on their feet. We also don't need to jump into a race to the bottom. The governor's policies are failed policies that members of his own party have rejected. We need to focus on the economy and on job creation. Democrats are working to address the economy with measures to strengthen early childhood education, increase access to higher education, and get workers the skills they need. We need smart investments in our future, investments that help small businesses that are on the verge of job creation to make that jump. The governor needs to step it up. But so far, we haven't heard any real plans for boosting our economy. In fact, he even held back key investments that would have pumped money into our economy and put Mainers back to work. For 3 years, he refused to issue voter-approved bonds to make key investments in our public infrastructure and our people. He vetoed an R&D bond crafted by leaders in his own party at a time when Maine is investing 1/3 of what we should be in R&D. He disregarded the will of the voters and refused to jumpstart our economy. And in my own private sector work, I see people every day who are poised to invest in Maine, who want to invest in Maine, but they're holding off because of the uncertainty that this has created and the lack of investment that has happened under the governor's watch. We had a banker come before my committee the other day and say, all we're doing right now is hitting singles. We need to be hitting doubles and triples and home runs. And we could be if we did the right thing and worked together. Maine can't afford any more of this. We need our governor tomorrow night to talk about real solutions that strengthen our middle class and help more Mainers to climb the ladder of opportunity. So thank you for being here. We're going to open it up to questions now. And if you, just as a reminder, if you could take your, say your name and who you're with once we call on you, that would be great. Any questions?
Chris Cousins, Mango Daily News. To what degree do you expect the speech tomorrow night to be a campaign speech? What evidence have you seen around here at the State House in recent months that the governor's already campaigning?
Well, I mean, obviously, we hope that it is about what actually is going on with the state and our economy and the people in it. But, I mean, if I had to bet, I would imagine that there'd definitely be some of that in there. How much? Hopefully limited. But this, whole thing about actions speak louder than words, I don't think that is a campaign thing. I think it's actually something that you're taught whenever you're young, and people should grow up believing that. And the fact of the matter is yes, let's do things that actually speak louder than the rhetoric that goes on here many times. Let's actually do what we were all sent here to do for the people in the state of Maine. So I mean, I'm hopeful that we don't hear anything about right to work, which is completely a ridiculous idea. Something that, yes, everyone in the building, Republican and Democrat, rejected. And, we hear that as bad as he thinks that Medicaid expansion would be, he would give Medicaid expansion if we give him right to work. Well, that's not about that type of trading here. Right to work is a bad policy. Medicaid expansion in our ideas, our minds, and a lot of people's minds in this state, including all the hospitals that we all know how important they are, all believe should happen and should happen for the people in the state.
A.J. Higgins, Maine Public Radio. On Medicaid expansion, how are Democrats doing in the way of forging coalitions with Republicans to basically craft a veto-proof vote on expansion? I know there's been some movement in that area, but I understand there's also some trepidation on the behalf of some Republicans.
Well, I can just say that those conversations are ongoing. They're serious conversations. The hospitals are very clear about the benefit that it would bring. Studies are clear. The business community is helping out to look to broker compromise and make sure that we can do the right thing and accept federal dollars to insure 70,000 Mainers. But what we want to hear tomorrow night is a willingness to work with us on creating jobs, on getting the economy back on track, and on moving Maine from third worst in the nation in its job growth to leading the pack, ideally. We have that potential here in Maine.
Alana Durkin, Associated Press. What is the real solution that you would propose tomorrow night if you were delivering the speech for the economy?
If I was going to be someone that would propose it, I would propose that we stop the broker on Maine Care Rides. It's a complete boondoggle. We have companies that could step in, start doing that program for our people. I would pass Medicaid expansion. Certainly, working with everyone, come up with the best compromise. And I would put some bonds out there for research and development, because there are people in this state that are doing great things that actually could put the state of Maine on the map for something that we could be proud of. Everyone, Republicans, Democrats. So I mean, those are things that, quick answer, what I would be certainly interested in doing.
I would just add that the workforce committee is engaged in those conversations. That is something that we hope to work on across the aisle. We were able to pass a unanimous first of its kind workforce measure last year, and we're very proud of that. It's unfortunate it had to pass over the governor's veto, but that's the kind of thing that we want to do. We're also very interested in developing our future workforce through some of the college affordability bills that are happening in the Education Committee, and also some of the early childhood education, whether it's universal access to pre-K or some of the Head Start work that's being done in HHS. So there's a multiplicity of opportunity here, and we should be taking advantage of that and working together.
Mario Moretto, Bangor Daily News. We're all expecting economic development and job recovery to be a big part of the speech tomorrow. Representative Barry, you mentioned that the numbers we saw last week regarding unemployment, jobs created in Maine, shouldn't be attributed to the governor. What do you attribute those things to, and what do you think about him claiming credit for those?
So the fact is that Maine is recovering more slowly than the rest of the nation. So I just want to make sure that was clear in my remarks. We are third from the bottom when it comes to jobs added back that were lost during the recession. So I think the first question is, are we doing better as a state? And the clear answer is no. And that's what Senator Jackson is asking people to take stock of and to think about. So if we're going to take credit, we have to take credit for what is actually going on the ground here in Maine. Poverty, child poverty on the rise, homelessness on the rise, all of these things that we mentioned. So we need solutions to those things. And a big part of the solution is, how do we focus on the economy and add jobs? We have so many opportunities, we have so many strengths as a state. Let's get to work on that. But from a reality, from understanding together where we are right now.
Mario, I'd just like to say, on that issue there, that one probably irks me more than anything. I keep hearing, well, our unemployment is better than it has been from 2008. In 2008, when Wall Street pretty near bankrupt this country, and no state had a great unemployment record. I mean, quite honestly, you could have done nothing and got a better unemployment record now after 2008. I don't see any policy on the ground that has actually helped any working class Mainers out. And so the idea that, well, our unemployment record is better in 2008, that's pretty hollow to me.
Well, Troy, when they talk about these lower unemployment rates, those don't really reflect the number of people who have basically given up on looking for jobs and who have run out of unemployment benefits, right? I mean, these people who have just given up, they're not recorded there. So that percentage doesn't really reflect the fact that there are more people working today than there were in 2008.
Well, that's, I mean, exactly what all my time in the Labor Committee we would hear was that, when people stop or their benefits have run out, then they don't count towards the unemployment numbers anymore. But, even if they do, I mean, we're still just barely better than 2008, and like Representative Barry says, we are the third slowest state in the nation to recover. And, I mean, we're not putting any emphasis, I don't think, on any of our natural resources in this state. Any of the R&D, I mean, many things that we know we could actually get going and help people actually have jobs. And talking about training wages and unemployment fraud, which, you know, we were the 50th lowest state in the nation. Those things don't put people back to work.
Senator Jackson, just a few minutes ago, you said that you had heard that the governor would trade Medicaid expansion for right to work. Could you expand on what you've heard from the second or third floor that made you say that?
Quite honestly, that's something that has come up a number of times. I think you actually heard him say it in some of his get-togethers. But to be completely honest, you know, he doesn't talk to me, so I never actually had it come from his lips, but it actually has been said to a great number of people, and I know that it's at least out there on one get-together that they had.
Senator Jackson, or Representative Barry, Scott Bissell from the Sun-Journal. You guys, there seems to be a great deal of angst that the governor's going to use the State of the State as some kind of campaign address, but isn't everybody, you're running for re-election, you're running for Congress, correct? I mean, aren't you guys all running for something?
Actually, no. I'm proud to stand before you here today. I may be one of a few here, but I'm not running for any office right now, and I will not be running for any office in 2014.
I mean, is it?
I'm here because I know that Maine can do better, and because we have the opportunity to do better as a state, and it's time for the campaigning, using the State of the State as a stump speech to stop, and for us to focus on the realities and on what Maine really needs to move forward.
And you know, Scott, I mean, am I saying anything different than I did last year before I decided to do anything? I mean, this is who I am. This is always who I've been. It's the person that is willing to push back against policies that I don't think are good for my area or the people in the state.
I just think it's unusual to have a preemptive strike on the State of the State instead of this, like, sort of the, maybe I'm just old school and I expect a democratic response after the thing, you know, but maybe I'm just, you know.
We'll be available for comment afterwards as well. Are there any other, maybe one more question, and then I think we should probably wrap it up.
Andy Parkinson, New Maine Times. Actually, I'd like to follow up on what Scott said. What did preempt, well, why today? Why are you doing this now instead of a reaction afterwards? What caused you to decide to make this move?
Quite honestly, we want to have the opportunity to work together on real solutions that will move Maine's economy forward. And we think that one of the best ways to do that is to say it before, say it after, say it early, say it often, that we want to focus on our economy, work together, and move Maine forward. That's why we're here.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate your time.